What's up everyone, Brian Phobos here. Today we're going to talk about the SegWit2X Bitcoin fork, and we're going to talk about the Ignis Airdrop that's on the Ardor platform. So this is kind of pretty complex, but we're going to talk about what I think about the SegWit2X fork and then also how I'm approaching the Ignis Airdrop. So with SegWit2X, if you remember back in November, they're basically going to, do the SegWit2X, which was SegWit got implemented in August, and the 2x portion was just to take the blocks from 1 megabyte blocks to 2 megabyte blocks on the Bitcoin blockchain. Now, they couldn't reach total consensus. Some of the miners were getting greedy, is really what it comes down to, and they wanted these high fees that we're all dealing with right now, and it's terrible, and it's really ridiculous. They should have looked into the future. This has said, let's go ahead and do 2x. To get this to move forward. They didn't. So anyway, this was suddenly on Cointelegraph, Cointelegraph like a day ago or whatever. And I was like, what? Okay, it's back on. Okay, this is good. But then you start reading into it, and you actually like reading this article, you still think it's the same group who's doing this SegWit2X fork. But then once you get looking into it further, you're like, wait a minute. Is this the same project or is this the same people? And basically it's going to happen tomorrow, and it's going to happen around noon Arizona time is the way I've calculated out based on this block. And I can show you kind of how to do that as it gets closer, because Bitcoin blocks are 10 minutes, but they're approximately 10 minutes. Sometimes they go longer. But basically looking into this a little further, what is it? And then it's like, okay, 21 million coins. Okay, well, it's the same as Bitcoin. And then it's like, wait a minute, 2.5 minute blocks. That's the same as Litecoin. X11 mining, well, that's the same as Dash. And they're saying block size increased to 4 megabytes. And it's like, well, the 2 in the 2x portion was meaning 2 megabytes. So it's like, okay, they're going to 4 megabytes. And then they're saying down here, they're going to do all this stuff in the future. ZK snarks for anonymity, like on Zcash and all this other stuff. Whether they ever get to this, I don't know. It might just be kind of a ploy to kind of grab our attention. Now it says, how many Bitcoins will we get, or how does this work? So this is the really sketchy part to me. It says, in addition, we will distribute a proportional number of Bitcoins of Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, if you don't know, Satoshi Nakamoto mined 1 million Bitcoins in the beginning. He was the creator. He mined 1 million of these, and they've never moved. The wallets haven't moved. So then it's like, well, are those coins lost, or what's going on with those? So these guys are saying that basically they're going to block off that 1 million, and then they're going to kind of insta-mine another 1 million and distribute 1 million coins to the people who participate in this, or at least the companies that are participating in it, like HitBTC and YoBit and a few exchanges that are participating. So first I blame Cointelegraph, because I actually got tricked by this thinking, wait a minute, this is the same fork, but they should have really done some investigation and said, you know what, no, this is totally different than what was going on a month ago. So I think what people are going to get confused is that Coinbase even sent out emails a month ago saying that they were going to support the 2x and the no 2x chains, and there could have ended up being those two separate chains over on Coinbase, and they said they were going to support those. And I think now that people are seeing this, they're thinking it's the same thing, but in reality, this group has just hijacked this brand name, this SegWit2X brand name, and it's totally not what that was. This is totally different. This is more like a combination of Litecoin and Dash and eventually Zcash, all like jumbled into one thing or whatever. So this is pretty much what we're looking at here. This SegWit2X fork is kind of like this Lambo here. So they're really it's really kind of a knockoff, and they're just going off of that brand name. Now let's look at the futures market. It has crashed here just pretty much in the last few hours. It was clear up over 1,000, which was insane. Again, a little bit thinly traded. $4 million is still thinly traded. and the futures market is only on HitBTC and YoBit, and a lot of volume is coming from YoBit. YoBit's always kind of like sketchy. I have a YoBit account, but I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't trust YoBit that much. Anyway, they were going a lot higher on YoBit, and then now this has crashed. So whether that was some kind of organized pump and dump, I don't know. But the confusing thing about the futures market, when you read into it on these exchanges, it's not real clear how you really get involved in selling your futures. For B2X, I'm assuming that you have to put up the Bitcoin as collateral, and then you can't move the Bitcoin while you have this futures contract, and the futures contract lasts for a certain period of time. So I don't know if you're still hanging around with it after the actual fork has happened. I don't know. It's really weird. I think that's why a lot of people don't get involved in it. It's just something to kind of look at and almost be like, oh, well, it's going for that. So it's kind of a little bit of a price indicator. Now, if you want to calculate out the blocks, you know, you can go to any block explorer and you can look at this block height. And then if you see back on their website, it says right here, block 501, 451. And then we can see what we're on. It's going to be 451. We're on 363. I've calculated out to be around noontime, Arizona time. So then when it comes down to the Ignis Airdrop is tomorrow, and a lot of people have had to decide, do I want to participate in this Bitcoin SegWit2X knockoff fake Lambo style fork, or do I want to participate in the Ignis Airdrop? Well, we've calculated out, and you can participate in both potentially, but there's risk involved in that. So let's talk about Ignis and basically what Ignis is, and this is going to get confusing, I understand. So back in 2014, there's been this project called NXT or Next, and it's been out there for a long time. Now, Jelly Rita is the development team or the company behind NXT, Ardor, and then Ignis is actually going to be a child chain on Ardor. I know that's confusing, but imagine the technology from Next, like NXT, is going to be the next iteration of that is Ardor, and on Ardor it allows for these child chains so that organizations or different communities can form and have like their own child chain underneath Ardor, using all the same features that NXT was able to do, except a few additional features and the ability to reduce blockchain bloat and stuff like that by something they're calling pruning. And you can check out the video here. So if you go to jellyrita.com and you can watch this video about Ignis, and it talks about the chain bloat and all that kind of stuff and everything they're going to implement there. And it also talks about the distribution. So one NXT coin is going to end up getting you 0.5 Ignis. So you're going to get let's say you have 1,000 NXT coins, you're going to get 500 Ignis. And then on the 1st of January, the Ardor network is going to launch, the production network, and then Ignis is going to be a child chain on Ardor. So you're going to have half of that you can carry over there. Now the NXT chain is going to continue forward. There's still development going on with that, and it's still going to be out there. So it's not like everything's transferring over and then you don't get any NXT, or that it's just going to, potentially die just right away. So that's one thing to think about. And I know that's extremely confusing, guys. I was super confusing because really you have 4 different kind of branding or 4 different names. You got this Jelly Rita, which is the development team. You got NXT, which is a platform that's been out since 2014. You have Ardor, which is the new platform, and then Ignis is the first child chain on Ardor. And the same development team developed NXT, that developed Ardor, and developed Ignis. So super, super confusing. I get that. Now, I originally saw the advertising on CoinMarketCap that they were advertising the Ignis Airdrop. And I had already bought a little bit of NXT before that, just a small position around 75 cents. Then I started seeing this whole thing about Ignis. I started looking into it further, and I was like, well, I think the price is going to keep going up because people want to get in on the free coin, so to speak, in this airdrop. And that did happen, and it went clear up to like $2. You know, and then there was a lot of speculation. So let's look at the Ignis Futures, which are being traded on HitBTC, and it's going for $3.56. Now, if you do the calculation and you're like, okay, if you bought one Bitcoin, if you had one Bitcoin and you recovered, let's say that's $486, or you took one Bitcoin and invested it in NXT and you recovered this much per Ignis, then it came out to basically be like you would be up like $20,000 by going the route of buying the NXT and getting the Ignis. And then I'm like, okay, well, we're all like, well, okay, like this, you know, that sounds like a really good deal. You know, I don't know if it's going to work out quite like that, but let's be conservative. But anyway, you see this super small volume, 16,804 on this futures market. That's pissant status. That can easily be manipulated, for starters. But I think a lot of it is that people don't, this whole airdrop is confusing in general. And then a lot of people don't know how to do the futures out on HitBTC. I didn't feel comfortable. I was thinking about selling the futures. And then I was like, I don't know, because the way it was written out, it was like, how long does the contract last? And can I get this stuff out before that, or do I get my proceeds before that? It was very confusing. So here's a couple things. Bittrex they are supporting the airdrop, and like on basically the snapshot, and you know, kind of the same as the Bitcoin situation. On this block, a snapshot's going to be taken, and any NXT holders are going to get 0.5 Ignis dropped to them. And basically, I've calculated that out, and it's going to be about 4:30 a.m. Arizona time. And I'll show you how to calculate that as well. So you can participate in Ignis, the Ignis airdrop, and then technically you could sell out of your NXT, go back into Bitcoin, and attempt to participate in the B2X or the SegWit2X Bitcoin fork. But Bittrex did not say that they're supporting the SegWit2X, this little fake Lambo version of that. So you would have to move it off of Bittrex, but HitBTC is supporting it. So I'm going to tell you guys how I'm kind of playing this. Also, HitBTC did say that they are supporting SegWit2X. They also Ignis Airdrop right here. So they are supporting that as well. So what I did is I split money between Bittrex and HitBTC. And my whole plan is I've got that in NXT right now. And then when I get the airdrop, I'm going to look at the market. Now it might get hit with bots, but Bittrex did say in their statement that they might shut down the market. It says Bittrex may temporarily stop trading the NXT token to take accurate snapshots of balances. So people trying to fire off bots, you know, to fire sell the NXT after the snapshot, it could end up, now they might account for that and say, okay, keep testing, wait, you know, until the market's up, and then when it's up, boom, and it's going to knife down. Now we had a huge sell-off tonight, which was insane, and we'll look at that in a second here. But HitBTC doesn't say anything about shutting down the market, but withdrawals are closed down at this point for Bittrex. So you really can't get in NXT on there anymore, and you can't withdraw. So this is the wallet for NXT. Usually I would keep money in a wallet like this, and then later I'll worry about recovering it. I don't like leaving money on the exchanges, because if you don't own your keys, you don't own your coins. So, but in this situation, because of the way this is going to play out, I decided that I was going to split the money between Bittrex and HitBTC. And hopefully they don't get hacked tonight. So anyway, in here, when you go to dashboard, you can see what block it's on. Now blocks are approximately 1 minute long. Now that can vary, that's approximate. And then from that, you can calculate where it's going to be. So it's going to be block 1636363, and you can read about that on the airdrop pages, you know, where it'll show when the airdrop's taking place, like right here. So you can see that documentation, do the calculation. I'm coming up with 4:30 a.m. and my plan is that I'm gonna basically be there waiting. I'm gonna see that, okay, we're past that block. I'm gonna let it, I'm not gonna just do it like right on that block because I don't wanna move my coins or fire sell and end up not, you know, getting it sold. Now, if the market knifes down, so I'm gonna wait like probably 10 blocks more. I just wanna make sure the, you know, snapshot is accurate, and you're probably not gonna see an announcement that quick from Bittrex or HitBTC, so you're not gonna know. You're gonna assume that, okay, I was in that block, my stuff was sitting there, they should be giving me the coins. We're just gonna have to trust them. That's the way I'm thinking. Now, I'm gonna wait about 10 blocks before I would even potentially sell, but the bots might hit it. It might be like Terminator 2 Judgment Day with just bots like freaking, it could be a massacre out there. So if that does happen, my plan, because there has been this huge sell-off with NXT, is to go ahead and hodl it and forge it. Like so forging is like mining in NXT, and basically it's proof of stake, and you can basically, see how it says over here, it says not forging? Like you can basically forge your coins and, you know, you can lock them up in there and then you can earn additional coins and support the network. So I'll play a longer term game if this thing like sells off like crazy. That's my plan. And then really what it comes down to, I won't know if this decision was a smart decision or not, probably for a week or two, because once Ignis starts trading on the regular market instead of just this futures market, we're going to see some price discovery and we're going to see what it's going to go for. Ideally, it should go for twice as much as what NXT is going for, to where this would be kind of, I guess, at least a beneficial thing, that even if I sold out of all the NXT and the Ignis ended up being worth, because you're only getting half an Ignis per one NXT, that if it's selling for $2.20, for instance, then it would be like, okay, that's kind of a wash, and I've got just as many Ignis, but you still have your NXT. There's a lot of people who aren't going to be able to sell, but look at this chart, guys. So I'm looking at the orange right here in comparison to Bitcoin in the summer. Like a lot of altcoins, it was up relative to Bitcoin. We had another spike right here, but today we had this huge sell-off, and actually this is not 100% accurate, but this was basically lower than what it was here midsummer, and that's very uncommon for a lot of these altcoins, that it sold off that hard. It was like there was a ton of noobs over on HitBTC in the troll box. They didn't know what to do. They were running around like chickens with their heads cut off. They're like, should I sell? I don't know what to do. So you always need to have a backup plan. That's why I tell like people, don't panic. Okay, like for instance, if you're in real estate investing, and for instance, your plan is, okay, we're going to do a fix and flip, but let's say something changes, and then it's just like, you know what, the numbers aren't going to work out that well. Let's go ahead and rent this out for 3 years, or let's do a lease purchase option on this. You always want to have 2 or 3 exit strategies, 2 or 3 other alternative plans, and same thing with crypto. If this knifes down, I'm going to forge this and keep earning more NXT and wait for a bottom. Let's just pretend it knifes all the way down and we get to some kind of base level like it was here. If it goes down that far, I'm gonna forge, I'm gonna earn NXT over time, and then ultimately I'll average way down and get my cost basis way down and wait for the next pop. So if you're able to play the long-term game, you're way better off than somebody who's playing a short-term game. But another thing that happened is John McAfee's Twitter account got hacked, and today he said the coin of the day is NXT. This was like a few hours ago, and then he came back and said my account got hacked. I didn't recommend that coin, or I didn't recommend a coin of the day because we're doing coin of the week this week or something. So there's been all kinds of drama between this SegWit2X and this Ignis Airdrop, but this is the way I'm playing it, guys. I'm a little deeper into this investment than I would like to be, but if I can sell out, I'm going to go ahead and probably sell out and go over to Bitcoin and then maybe take advantage of the SegWit2X fork, even though it's a crack baby fake Lambo situation. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let me know if you guys are participating in the Ignis Airdrop or the SegWit2X fake Lambo coin fork. And please subscribe, like the video, and follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, Twitter, Instagram, Steemit. See you guys later.